a motorist is traveling at a speed of 54 kilometers per hour. How long will it take him to cover a distance of 600 meters? The speed is given, and the distance is given. How long, that is time. So from the formula, that's the average speed of a body is given by the total distance traveled over total time taken. Total distance covered by the body over total time taken for the journey. Total time. So this is how we define average speed. So that 54 km per hour will be the average speed because the total distance covered was given as 600 meters. Now we have to quickly convert kilometer per hour to meter per second because kilometer and meter, you can't use the two different units in one equation in solving for the time. So we need to express that. So 54 km per hour, we convert that to meter per second, multiply this by 1000 because 1 kilometer is 1000 meters. Therefore, 54 kilometers with 54 times 1000. 1 hour is 60 times 60 seconds, not 60 minutes or not 60 seconds. So that will give me, if I simplify this, it's going to give me 15 meters per second. That is converting the speed. This cancels this, and so on. So that now we have meter and our distance is 600 meters. You can now see that this unit will agree. We can now work with meter and meter. Okay? So the total time taken, T, if we make that the subject of this equation, is going to give me total distance divided by the average speed of the motorists. Average speed. So that will give me 600 over 15. By the time I divide 600 by 15, the time as 40 seconds. So it takes 40 seconds for the motorist to cover a distance of 600 meters. Okay, quickly we'll look at a second question. A cyclist traveling along a straight road covers a distance of 18 kilometers in a time of 1¾ hours. We have to calculate the average speed of this cyclist. Okay, given distance D is 18 kilometers. The time is 1¾ hour. Now, if I work with this unit, the unit given to me, then my final answer for the speed will be in kilometer per hour. And then later I can change that to meter per second. So, but I have to express this in improper fraction because this mixed number. 4 times 1, 4 plus 3, that gives me 7/4 hours. So my speed or average speed is given by the total distance covered, distance D divided by time. So that gives me 18 divided by 7/4. Now that is speed equals 18 times, I'm going to take this 4 up, that's the rule of division. Then 7 remains a denominator. So I have 18 times 4 divided by 7. That by the time I evaluate that, I'm going to have my average speed as 10.3, approximately 10.3 kilometer per hour. I can convert this to meter per second. I can convert this to meter per second by multiplying the in meter per second. I can multiply this 10.3 by 1000, then divided by 60 times 60. That gives me 2 points. You can confirm that with your calculator. 2.86 meters per second. Okay, so I have a question for you. Question 3 is for you. I'm sure you are trying to, or you have you fully understand how I solved the first two questions, calculating this and then the distance given the speed, or calculating the speed given the distance traveled and the time it takes. So this next question is for you. A particle has an average velocity of 108 km per hour. We are to find how far it travels in 2.5 minutes. The answer is 4,500 meters or 4.5 kilometers. So I want you to walk this question through to the answer. Ensure that you try and arrive at this correct answer, 4,500 meters or 4.5 kilometers. So I'll give you some 2 seconds to quickly write down the question while I move to the next question. Now, this other question says a cyclist rides at a speed of 5 km per hour for 20 minutes and then at a speed of 6 km per hour for 15 minutes. We are to determine the average speed of the cyclist. So this question can be very tricky if you are not careful. The question says calculate the average speed. You may want to quickly add 5 to 6 because there are two speeds given and divide by 2. If you go that way, you'll be getting the wrong answer. So what do you do now? Remember the definition of average speed. Average speed is given as total distance traveled by body, total distance covered over total time taken. So we need to recall this equation for average speed, which means that the journey of this cyclist is in two different stages. The first stage, it was moving at the speed of this, and it did that for 20 minutes. And then the next stage of the journey, it traveled at the speed of this for this time. So what I'll do is to find the distance covered in each case of the journey. Case 1, distance covered is average speed times time for the first case. And the distance, the speed is 5 km per hour. This is 5 km per hour. Now the time will not agree because there's an hour. There's a hour in my unit here, but this other unit for time is in minutes. So hour and minute don't agree. I must express this time in hours. Okay, so to convert minute to hour, I'll divide the 20 minutes by 60 to convert that to hour. So as I'm working out this, if I'm trying to evaluate this cancels this, and then I have 0 cancels 0. That gives me 5 times 2 here 1, 2 here 3, 1 over 3, which is 5 over 3. That gives me roughly distance S1 as 1.7 to the nearest one decimal place kilometer. Then for the second stage of the journey, I call the distance covered S2, which is still average speed times time. The average speed is given as 6 km per hour. It's not very compulsory to always write the units together with the number. Just doing that so that I don't mix up the units. The time must also be in hour because here I have kilometer per hour. So I'll change 15 minutes to hour, and that I'll do by dividing 15 minutes by 60. That gives me the time in hour. So by the time I simplify this, I'm going to have hour cancels hour. So the unit of the distance S2 will be in kilometer. So I have 15 year 1, 15 year 4. So 6 over 4 gives me 1.5 kilometer. So that the average speed now of the cyclist, which the question wants us to determine, is now total distance 1.7 plus 1.5 over total time taken, which is total time taken is going to be 15 plus 20. That gives me 35. 35 minutes must be changed to hour if I want the answer to be in kilometer per hour. So I have to work out that gives me 3.2 divided by the time I divide 35 by 60, I have my answer as 0.58583. So that My average speed will give me 3.2. Well, I can work it this way. 3.2 times 60. This is a good, so that's the rule of division over 35. So that I don't have to be doing too many approximation. So I'll multiply 3 by 2 by 60 and then divide the answer by 35. That gives me an average speed of 5.48 kilometer per hour. Since I already divided or converted the time to hours, so it must give me in kilometer per hour. So that if I want the average speed in meter per second, in case the question asks you to give the answer in meters per second, you just quickly multiply this by 1000 and then divide it by 60 by 60. That's by 3600. Okay, so I'll let you work out that one. 5.48 times 1000 divided by 60 by 60, that will give me 1.52 meters per second. That gives the average speed of the cyclist.